If your auto insurance has a combined single limit liability limit, that is much, much better than having split limits, right? This is Jerry Nicklow of Real Insurance Talk with Huff Insurance, and the answer, well, before we get to the answer, give us a like and follow, like this post, comment on this post what you think, but help us spread the word. But the answer is not that simple. And the answer we always say is it can be, and it can't be. You're like, well, how can it be both? Well, let me give you a claims example. I mean, combined single limit, say $500,000 combined single limit. That's going to combine your per person, your total. That's the total to pay for liability for that accident. That includes bodily injury and property damage. So if I got the comparative is what people like to say to the 500 combined single limits will be 250, 500, 100. Which is $250,000 bodily injury per person, $500,000 bodily injury per accident, and $100,000 property damage. So, again, in some aspects, $500,000 combined single can be better. How? Well, it's not limited to the $250 for the person. So if somebody has to fly to shock trauma and go have devastating injuries, they can get up to $500,000 for their injuries or bodily injury and pay for the helicopter ride and all that stuff. So it can provide more insurance there. What if it's just a property damage and you go hit somebody's Mercedes G-Wagon? That's a couple $100,000 car. So your 500 combined single limit will pay more property damage for that car than your $100,000 in the split limits. But there's also cases where it can be less coverage because, say, I cause $100,000 property damage and I have multiple people claiming injuries. So the 250, 500, 100, the maximum it can pay out can be $600,000. It can pay the $500,000 total BI for multiple people getting injured, and it can pay the property damage limits of $100,000. Say you wind up hitting a bus or somebody's RV, or like I said, the G-Wagon. You can have multiple injuries that add up to the $500,000, and you can have $100,000 in property damage. So in that case, the split limits would be better for the insured than the combined single limits. But in the other case, if you have one person get injured and there's not much property damage, you hit a pedestrian, say, and they get $500,000 for their injuries, then the combined single limits is better. So to come out and blanketly say that combined single limits is better than split limits is not an accurate statement. We wouldn't say that. We always say it depends on the claim and which one would you rather have. In either case, if you got those limits, I would also put an umbrella on top, and I would not start at $1 million for the umbrella. We were selling $1 million umbrellas when I started in 1995, and I think Nancy was here when she was 14 with her dad in the 80s, and that's what the minimum threshold was for an umbrella was $1 million. So if the $1 million umbrella is what we looked for in the 80s, I think there might have been a little thing called inflation since then. So in 2026, that $1 million is probably not worth nearly as much as it was back in 86. So look to get a $2 million, $4 million, $5 million umbrella to put on top of your liability, because the $1 million that we used to sell in the 80s is not nearly, was worth a lot more than the $1 million that we sell now. So again, this is Jerry Nicklow, Real Insurance Talk with Huff Insurance. Give this post a like, give it a follow. Let me know if you have any questions. Follow my channels too. We're on, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So go out there and find us. Give us a follow. And if you have any questions, please reach out and ask. And I'll be happy to make a video and talk to you. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.